Hello, I'm Heidi Winnick, bringing you the latest listicle from the Sex Education Collaborative in honor of Let's Talk Month. So here's what we know. Families who effectively communicate about sexual health at home enrich a student's school-based sex education experience. So encouraging students to communicate with their families and their trusted adults about relationships and sexuality is a win-win-win for schools because young people who can openly talk with their families and trusted adults about their sexual health have better physical and emotional health outcomes and demonstrate improved academic performance. Let's get into our 3 tips for helping families to support the young people in their lives. Tip number 1. Supporting school-based health education and encouraging family conversations about sexuality and relationships is critical to ensuring that all students have personal and academic success. The most effective sex education encourages and creates opportunities for young people to talk with the trusted adults in their lives openly and often regarding the subject matter that is discussed in their classrooms. So in turn, conversations at home should include shared values regarding relationships and sexuality and can provide support for young people that guides their emotional development. Frequent discussions at home and school about sexual health and healthy relationships helps to destigmatize the subject matter and allow students to ask those important questions that they have without shame. Students who communicate with their families about these topics are more likely to have increased interest and engage in classroom discussions with their teachers and their peers. Tip number 2. School leaders should provide opportunities such as workshops and roundtable discussions for parents and caregivers to learn how to effectively and comfortably have these conversations with young people about sexual health and relationships. Schools can take proactive steps in supporting parents and communities and creating safe spaces for these open and healthy conversations about sexual health. Schools can also partner with local community-based organizations to offer workshops for parents and caregivers and provide opportunities to share experiences around engaging young people in these topics. Parent and caregiver workshops offer the unique opportunity to break the ice for these potentially sensitive topics in a supportive environment. To ensure diverse participation, these workshops should be made available more than once, with inclusion of interpreters and childcare. If possible, virtual meetings are an effective way to hold important conversations. Sometimes schools and districts lack the resources to be able to offer these workshops. So in those cases, schools can just engage outside organizations with resources and subject matter expertise. You can check out the Sex Education Collaborative's training hub, which is online, and find offerings and organizations in your own area. While school provides students with medically accurate terms and evidence-based information, students also really want to hear from their trusted adults about their own experiences and challenges with sex and relationships. And so schools can set up both students and parents for success by normalizing that sexual health education is just an integral part of a student's school career. Tip number 3. Make sure to provide reliable resources so that parents and caregivers feel prepared to continue these conversations at home. There's so many online resources for parents and caregivers to use to boost their confidence in speaking with their young people about sexual health. And sometimes parents and caregivers look to schools for these reliable resources. So it's helpful for schools to have a list on their websites or have them available at their health center or other spaces where students might look to get reliable support and information. Remember, no two families are alike and neither are their needs. So make sure to have resources that reflect all the different identities and experiences of the young people and families that you work with. So this means resources in multiple languages, resources that were created for and by different communities, materials that are inclusive of and center diverse sexual orientations, gender identities, abilities, and more. You can review the professional learning standards for sex education on the Sex Education Collaborative website for more examples of key content areas for resource provision. Thank you for watching and happy Let's Talk Month.